What's going on, geeks? You're listening to episode 326 of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. My name is Cody Armour. I'm here with Shelley Nollan.
Hello.
And Lj.Lowery.
What up?
This week, we're geeking out about the Game Awards, Wakanda Forever, and we toss another coin to our Netflix. Because Witcher stuff. Before we do that, we'll get into the games that we've been playing. LJ, you and I have actually both been playing the same game.
Yes.
On the Twitch channels, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Sonic Frontiers.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think so far?
I like it. I really like the direction it's going. The stages I've noticed are shorter, but it's almost like they want you to be able to just run those like as activities more than anything. But the open world is awesome. I'm loving how many there's a lot of activities. There's a lot of things you can do. A lot of collectibles. Unlocking the map is super fun. There's just it's a very activity oriented game. I feel like this is going to be a good one for young kids like my nephew who are like 5 years old who just want to jump in and play a Sonic and run around and do stuff. And then they can play the stages. Yeah, and then they can play the stages and actually like learn how to play the Sonic we all kind of know already. And so it's one of those things where like when he gets it, it actually dropped to $40 on Amazon and Walmart over the weekend. So I bought him a copy that I'm saving for quote unquote Santa to give to him.
Nice.
And so I'm excited because he'll learn that because he's played Sonic Colors and Forces I think a little bit, but they're still kind of difficult for him. But I feel like this one can kind of help him get a feel for like how to play a Sonic game and just do whatever, and then he can learn. The thing that does throw me off is that double tapping X is no longer jump and the homing dash. Now you got to do X and square. So now I'm like that kind of threw me off.
Yeah.
It's got a combat system. Like I'm like what?
That's nutty.
Yeah, there's literally a combo counter like Devil May Cry now. You know, like there's abilities you can unlock that like you can do more in combat. There's a lot to it, and it's like there's just a lot that kind of made me jaw drop and just also kind of made me just like it feels like it definitely feels like what Breath of the Wild was to like Zelda kind of like it just changes so much. And like Zelda, we've had evolutions to that series over time, but Sonic, I feel like they've been a lot more incremental, and this feels like the biggest evolution for the franchise we've seen in like a good few years. So it just had me kind of floored. I'm like, wow, this game's really good.
It's almost like I'm curious. I watched one of the YouTubers I follow, Yazo. He did this. He played every single 3D Sonic game. Minus Sonic Frontiers because it was kind of in preparation for Sonic Frontiers, if anything.
Right.
And just talk about like, was there actually a clean or non-clean transition? Like, how actually was the transition between 2D to 3D Sonic? And sort of kind of one of the I guess takeaways from the video was that, you know, Sonic Adventure is a Sonic Adventure 2 battle, or Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, I guess I should say, being one of the first, like, two of the three first 3D Sonic games, actually pretty good. And then it's kind of just a lot of people who crap on the 3D Sonic games really just don't like most of the rest of them, especially the more recent ones. Like,
yes, they're kind of the old
Sonic
school
Forces
fans that don't want anything else, you know, like that's the reason Sonic Mania got made, is because for all the people who don't, I don't want 3D Sonic, or those are bad. But it's like, no, there's a lot of us that like, I grew up with both, so exactly, I appreciate Sonic as a whole.
Yeah, it's cool. It just makes me curious. I feel like this is almost as big of a transition from 2D to 3D. This is obviously still 3D, right? It's not like 4D, you know, it's not.
But it's a new formula, though.
It's a new formula, and so I'm really curious to see how it goes. Is it going to be good? Is it going to continue doing stuff like this, or are they just, you know, playing around with this and then they're going to go back to like more classic 3D? Or I don't know. I'm just really curious to see the future of Sonic, and how this game will influence that.
One thing that I was really surprised about is that it's not more Mario attuned, I guess. I figured it would be more like Odyssey, so you'd have, because you have different islands, and so I assumed that the different islands would be more like different worlds that, like Super Mario Odyssey, you go into these different areas and then have this 3D sandbox. And this all feels very just like open landscape. Like I said, Breath of the Wild is a closer comparison than Super Mario, which I thought was really interesting. I'm really loving it as a Sonic game. As a video game as a whole, it feels a little cheaply made, which I hate to say. The clipping is kind of off-putting, and then I was laughing the entire stream. There are these birds in the game, and you're in a digital world, so it all kind of like is justified in one way.
Yeah.
But these birds all have the same exact animation, and they animate at the exact same time, and they fly like they just look very like copy and pasted into the game. But that said, it's probably one of the best Sonic games that I've played in a long time. I'm really intrigued in the story.
What mode are you playing on? 4K or like performance mode?
I think I didn't change it.
Oh, see, performance mode is awesome. It's 60 frames per second. Like it feels so buttery smooth, and it still looks beautiful. And cool. I think there might be less pop-in as far as I can
probably
tell.
Yeah.
Yep.
The pop-in is kind of ridiculous at times.
Yep. Oh yeah.
I'll have to check that out. I just left it on
the
default.
Performance mode is where it's at. I saw somewhere that people were recommending that over the graphics mode.
Yeah, because I mean, graphically, it's not really that insane. I mean, you don't need that graphic fidelity to understand what's going on in the world.
Right. It's still pretty though for what it is. It's like, wow, okay, this is a Sonic game.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying that part of it. The character interactions have been pretty cool so far. The boss battles feel like a lot of fun. I don't think I've actually had a boss battle. It's all been these like sub bosses or whatever they're called. I'm only 2 hours in because I've been doing it on our Twitch channel, like I said, twitch.tv/Geeks Under Grace. And so I played for that first 2 hours, minus all of the technical hiccups that we had to get past. But first 2 hours feels nice. The only thing that's weird to me, gameplay wise, I didn't even really care too much once I figured out the square, was the homing. Like once I got it, I was fine. The oddest thing to me is I'm so used to Sonic's camera being turned for me in a 3D space. You never have to really, like, you can move it in a Sonic Adventure or whatever, but you never need to. The camera really does the work for you.
So now what's throwing you off sounds like is when you got to do like the loop attack.
Yeah.
When you connect
so anytime that I've got to move that camera around, I'm like, oh, this is so weird that I actually have to like sit here and do this. It's not a bad thing. It's just odd. And it's not, I mean, it's something that every other game does. They should be used to it by now. It's the only thing that doesn't feel Sonic-esque to me. Combat system so far has been okay. I think it's cool. I love that there's skill trees. The skill trees are a little bit convoluted. You have a skill tree, and then the way you level up is through, without giving anything away, I guess Korok seeds is the best way to put them. From Breath of the Wild. And they will upgrade different stats. I would have preferred like running, make you faster. Maybe that's just because I've been playing Cyberpunk so long. Hitting things would make you stronger, kind of thing. But no, I'm enjoying it as far as a Sonic game goes. I definitely don't think it's any game of the year or anything like that. But,
oh no, like everything it does has already probably been done in a video game before. But it kind of wears that on its sleeve, and especially its influences too, I think.
And I will say, I brought up that Mario Odyssey thing. I'm kind of glad that it's not that. I think it would have been really easy for them to do that. I'm surprised that they didn't do it.
Yeah.
And have like a casino, open world.
It's not just another Sonic adventure, like I like that about
open
it.
World. Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited. I've seen some clips of other interactions with characters that I'm really excited to like dive into and actually see it organically. It seems like they'd really dive deep into the characters that do exist. And that'll be really cool. I saw some canonizing of events with Tails, and I was like, oh, that's so fun. Yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it. If you like Sonic and you're like, I need a good Sonic game, this is the one I think to pick up.
I chose this over God of War, and I don't regret it. Right now.
Let's
same.
go.
I do wish that I was playing God of War, but big fan of Norse mythology stuff.
And I'll play it by the end of the year, but yes, Sonic.
I do think I made the right choice in streaming this over God of War.
Yes, because
But I will say too, it's very tranquil.
Yep.
I think of Sonic games and I think of like you got to get point A to point B as fast as you can, and like really it's kind of you have to think about stuff and be really reactive. In this, if you want, you can just kind of like glide around the map, and you're still picking things up, you're still doing things, but it's very like exploratory.
You can literally just pick a direction and go.
Yeah, and it's like these big serene hillsides, at least in this first island, that it's almost kind of calm. The bad guys, I guess, are you can kind of avoid them if you want, and you can just kind of. I totally understand that someone on IGN likened it to Tony Hawk. It's kind of like if you were given Tony Hawk, but you weren't given a time trial. Like you can just kind of pick up the stuff as you go.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool. What other games have you been playing, LJ?
I played this other game, which was only a few bucks on Steam. I literally beat it in one sitting on my stream earlier this week. But it's called Save Room. And it's literally just Resident Evil inventory management, but a puzzle game.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah, there's like 50 levels. And it actually isn't that hard, but I was like, this is so funny. It has the atmosphere. It has like a Save Room style music, that you would have in Resident Evil. You literally have to consolidate some items, you literally have to heal yourself or like load guns to make space to fit everything. It's not too difficult. I actually think I grabbed this before it came to like consoles, but you can literally grab this on your Switch for like $3 or $5 now. But it's a fun little thing. I was actually going to play Sonic Frontiers that night, but then I was waiting for GameStop to send my copy because I got the Steelbook, the pre-order. And so I was like, okay, well, my copy's not here. Let me play this. And I literally just played it for 3 hours and beat it.
That's awesome.
Yep. It's super fun.
Cool.
Yeah. Fun little game if you're looking to throw around $3 to $5 on Steam or Switch. I feel like this would be a really good kickback on the couch like Switch game. It's worth it, especially if you're like a Resident Evil fan. There's like I thought the descriptions of the items were going to be funnier, but they're very basic. I think there's one nod to like Dirty Harry or something like with the revolver. But that's it. But it's cool. It's a good, like, it was not a waste of a few bucks at all. So yeah, that's it.
Shelley?
I didn't play anything new this week. I kind of dabbled. I kind of dabbled this week, but the only game I really want to talk about is Noida. I'm not sure if I feel like I've mentioned it on the stream before, or
maybe
stream,
once.
Sorry, podcast. I think I mentioned it before, but I really like this game just because it is kind of a roguelike, right? And so you could just pick up and do a run. So I honestly was just kind of like bored and was not really sure what to do, and I was feeling like, oh, I could buy like, all these. I've been looking at Steam a lot. I'm like, oh, there's all these games that I'm like adding to my wish list, and who knows how many of them I'm actually gonna buy for, like, during the Steam sale. Yeah. I know, but I kind of was trying to hold myself over, especially because Pokemon comes out at the end of this week, and I know I'm just gonna play that all the time. So it's like, why even pick up a new game right now when, one, I could buy new ones on sale, and two, I'm just gonna play Pokemon. Like, why do I even need to do that? So. But I started playing more Noida, and that game is just so chaotic. It's just like, I don't even know how you get good at that game.
I have that on my wish list as well, I think.
Yeah, because you're always given, because you're basically, for anyone who's unfamiliar, you go cave diving essentially, and you're given your wizard. And you're given 2 wands, always, and you're given a potion. So you're always giving a wand that's pretty good at attacking. It shoots a projectile that you can shoot at enemies. Then you're giving a wand that usually helps you traverse. It'll like give you bombs or something, but they're usually a limited amount. And so you always start like essentially with the same equipment, like some variations, but essentially the same equipment. Oh, and a potion. So sometimes there'll be like a water potion, or which is literally just a bucket of water, or a polymorphine potion, which will polymorph you, which is kind of funny. And then you basically keep going, you keep diving down, and you move on to new areas, and you get more wands along the way, more spells. and you run into harder and harder enemies. You get more gold, which you can use to buy more things. And it's just hard. I'm really bad at the game, but it's so fun. Like, I don't know why. I feel like I usually stop having fun with games that I'm really bad at, or that I like, because I can never get past, like, I've only gotten to I don't even know what level, but I haven't really gotten that far in the game. I know you can get really far. I also think it'd be really fun to watch like speedruns of this game. I have not yet, but just because of the random chaotic nature of it, I don't know. It's just kind of fun to like mess around, and experiment with the random stuff you see in the world. So
yeah, because it looks very like kind of like they play with physics, kind of.
Yes. Yeah, super physics, super like it's like alchemy based, right? It's like, oh, you run to a vat of oil. If you have a fire related wand, you can just set it on fire, and that sort of thing. And like if you get something on your clothes, like slime or blood or something else on your clothes, like that's going to affect you. Like if you get slime on your clothes, for example, then it's like harder for you to fly around. So but it's just hard. Like I'm just bad at the game, but it's like I want to get better at the game, surprisingly. But besides that, I didn't really want to mention it later, so I just figured I'd mention it in the gaming section. I actually started my own D&D campaign finally.
Oh, nice.
I won't go into like super details. It's a magic school campaign, not explicitly Strixhaven, but I am taking some Strixhaven like rules and stuff from Strixhaven. I'm kind of making a very homebrew thing, but it's very like Harry Potter inspired, and I'm just kind of excited about it. So you may or may not be hearing more about that. I definitely won't talk about it like every week, for example, but I just have never actually done. I've DM'd one shots. I've never DM'd a campaign before, so this will be a new experience for me.
Nice.
But yeah, so that's what I've been doing in the gaming world.
Cool. I've also, obviously been playing Cyberpunk. I just got done with all of the gigs, and
nice.
They didn't give me anything for it. I mean, you get everything, like something for like getting each gig all the way through, each fixer's gigs. But I don't know, no pizza party. They'd all be like, good job. But that means that I can move on with the game, and I can't get God of War. I told myself until I get this game done, and so I don't know if I'm gonna like completely like continue doing every single little thing. But it's been so much fun, so I don't know.
Nice.
I don't know yet. I really am having fun kind of going through all the repetitive stuff. I basically got really good with a sword in the game.
Ooh, nice.
The shooting mechanics on a console are not good. And I know I'm not the only one that thinks that. So I just kind of like slow down time and then take the sword and chop everyone up before they can do too much. And I've got so many potions. They're not called potions. I can't remember, Max Doc or something. It's a potion. And so I just take potions and swipe people up.
Nice.
It's been really easy on these side missions. It's
fun.
Yeah. Also, I finished Edge Runners, and I'll talk about that in TV a little bit. So it's cool. I'm gonna be sad when I have to like say goodbye to that universe, but not at some point, and then I'll go very opposite with God of War. That's true. Yeah, and there's a skill tree that I haven't looked up. So like the skill tree in the game, there is a like point that is not unlocked yet, and I don't know if I unlocked that by unlocking other things or if that's like a DLC thing. I don't know yet. I haven't looked into it. I'm sure I could get the answer on Google pretty easily, but I'm kind of hoping that it's like something you unlock with the DLC. That would be cool. Yeah, as of right now, there was something in the news related to this. It's a board game thing. We don't really have board game news. Edge Runners is getting its own board game.
Is it? That's awesome.
Yeah, I saw that today. Cyberpunk.
That's cool.
Obviously originated as a board game.
Yeah, it did.
So it'll use the same
Tabletop.
rules as Cyberpunk, but it's a different in the same Night City, I think, if I remember right. But you don't need the base game to play it.
Nice.
Solid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seems
That's
cool.
cool.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm that invested in the world, but I was like, that's fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's all I've been playing. We can get into besides
Sweet.
Snap, Marvel Snap, continuing that.
Yes, I am still addicted to Marvel Snap.
Yeah. Fun game. All right. What's going on in the gaming world, LJ?
Okay, so the first thing, it's big news, but there's not really a lot of detail. Control 2 was officially confirmed by the game's director. And apparently Remedy and 505 Games are in a big partnership with this one. 505 has given them a nice budget, apparently, to make this. And it's in early concept stages. But I think it's exciting because Control was big. And people enjoyed it. And it makes sense that they would do another one.
Oh, yeah.
I still, it's among the other few 300 games that I probably still need to finish in my backlog. But I'm excited for this game to just keep on going, or this series.
Yeah.
It's really cool for those of you who have not played it. Nice. It's a really cool it's like supernatural like shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's the biggest. That's like that's pretty huge. The second piece of news I want to cover a little bit is the Indie World Showcase that they announced like 2 days before it actually happened.
Yeah, very last minute.
So everybody was like, "What? Did this thing happen?" I'm like, "Yep, they announced it. They just were very quiet about it. Very quick about it." The games, there are a few games worth mentioning. Rogue Legacy 2 is a big one. Rogue Legacy is a very popular roguelike. Let's see. I think Coffee Talk is getting another...
Yeah, Coffee Talk's getting a sequel, or a...
Yep, Coffee Talk has a sequel. Have a Nice Death. They showed
Have a Nice Death is coming. There was that one really cute game with that I'm like genuinely interested in.
I need to look
it's called
at
Aka.
Yes.
Or Aka, yeah, with the red panda. It's like about a red panda who is like a warrior and he's retired. He's trying to find peace. I'm just like, oh, my heart. And there's a giant capybara. And I'm like, yo, I don't know. That one looked, in particular, stood out to me. That one in particular did.
Yeah, I need to look at these because I don't know all. Like, there's a few name drops. Let's see, Sports Story. That's a follow up to like Golf Story.
People are pretty excited about that.
Let's see, WrestleQuest is another one that got shown some more. Which that's a turn-based wrestling RPG. That sounds like out there. Let's see. Oh, Inscription is coming to Switch, which is a really interesting game. That game is so weird. Curse of the Sea Rats is one that I feel like I've been following since early Inception, and that's basically like a pirate-themed action game, but it's like 2D hand-drawn style animated. So it feels like an American Tail like style, like mouses, but like in like a pirate world. So it looks like a fun like co-op adventure. I'm very excited for that one. That's coming early 2023. But if people miss this, which I did myself, obviously, because there's a lot that I don't recognize on here that I've never heard of. But the fact that you mentioned Aka, I'm totally gonna check that out because it sounds amazing. But yeah, always keep an eye on indie. There's some really great indie games out there that just kind of don't get any love.
Yeah, Switch knows their audience. Like half of those, like so many of those games are just like cozy indie games, which is interesting. It's like, I feel like, I mean, indie games have obviously been going around since as long as gaming has, right? But I feel like it's only really been the last couple of years in which like cozy games have become like really popular, which I think is really cool, actually, because I feel like there was a long time in which I don't know how to describe. There's like, you know, old style cozy games, right? Like Harvest Moon and stuff. Like,
oh yeah,
I don't know. There's always this feeling where it's like, oh, those are just like for girls or whatever. Like unspoken and like dumb and like not true.
So much but Harvest Moon.
Yeah,
right. That's what I mean, right? So it's like not even true, but it's like I don't know. I think there was this
hundreds of hours in Stardew.
There was like this weird like. You know, and then when like Stardew Valley came out, I don't know, like there's just weird, like some people have this weird mentality where it's like, oh, those are like not real games, or like, you know, they're only for girls or something, which is again just false. But I just think it's cool that it's like now we're getting all of these sort of like cozy style games that anyone could just play, and you know they're becoming popular. And I just think that's what's cool. It's like they're becoming popular and people are finally being able to find ways to be able to relax in a video game that's not just like, for people like me who don't really enjoy, shooting a ton of things, right?
Yes.
Like, for some people that's a really good way to like decompress, but for me, no. Sometimes I do just want to like cozy up and like, play something. So I just think that's pretty cool. It's like how there's so many cozy games. Like I know some people are like, oh, there's too many farming sims now. Like, sure, I get it.
There's a reason.
There's a reason though. It's becoming popular.
Yeah.
I feel like Journey and Fez kind of started
man.
beginning of like indie games getting really big, and then you mentioned Stardew Valley. I feel like Stardew Valley is when they started to get that cozy focus.
Yeah,
it was
for
a few
sure.
years later. I think that succeeded, and then everyone had to make them, so you have a couple years, and then
for sure.
Now.
Yep, I think of games I specifically played on the couch on my Switch, because I hardly ever play my Switch on like my TV. I beat like Gris was one of them, and then Battle Chef Brigade. I literally beat both of those mostly like on the couch in my living room, hanging out with family. So it's like there's one of these out there that somebody's gonna just cozy up with, especially during the winter time and things like that. It's about to be the season. So,
totally. Heck yeah.
Yeah. Keep an eye on all the indies, especially on Switch. The third piece of news is probably the highlight here for a lot of people, not just our podcast. But we have the Game Awards nominees. And let's see. I'm going to go through
another
some
Game
of these.
Awards, another me not caring about the awards and only about the news. That will eventually come with the awards.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sure Anna, I think she already says, I mean, we do this every year, but she already says, like, she's totally going to stream the awards again.
Heck yeah.
My favorite moment last year was when they announced Alan Wake 2, and she just totally geeked out about it. It was
that
just so cool.
Fun.
It was my favorite, moment. So we're going to be doing that again on Twitch for people to come, watch and hang out with us. Dang, and for Game of the Year, there's some heavy hitters on here, some stuff I didn't expect. I know Plague Tale just came out, but Plague Tale Requiem is on here.
Ooh, that's another one I need to play.
I know. Well, that's why I'm like, wow. Elden Ring, which I'm not surprised that's on here.
They already have God of War Ragnarok, which I'm like,
I know.
That's
Is it fair?
pretty close.
Yeah, see, that's like in 2011 when Skyrim was on there. I'm like, and it won Game of the Year. I'm like, that's cheating.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's like, y'all just came out. You can't beat Skyrim in like a week. Come on.
I know,
now.
that's what I mean. It's like, I don't know if people have even. I mean, I'm sure quite a few people have already.
I know the
Ragnarok,
press.
but
The press has for sure. Like, I mean, there's people that have probably beaten it already, but by this
Not
time,
the majority.
the press has already played it and beaten it. So
Yeah.
half of the votes come from like a panel of press. And then Horizon Forbidden West, which that game. Oh, it's that. I feel sorry for Horizon. There's no way Horizon's winning this.
I don't know how I feel about quite a few of the picks, actually.
There's a few. The two others I'm going to mention in here are Stray. I had no idea Stray was that good to even be on this list.
Right, that's what I mean. It's like I have actually been still meaning to play Stray. It's on my list. I don't own it yet, so it's not my backlog, but it's something I do want to play. It's something I was excited about seeing when the PS5 was announced, because it was like one of those ones that was announced. But obviously I heard it's like, a lot of people liked it, but it is still a little surprised to see it on the list. I'm just like, really? Like, okay, like I'm all for, indie games, going up against the big dogs. Or should I say cats? Sorry. I don't really know. It surprised me. It surprised me a little bit. I also saw Cult of the Lamb is like under best indie game.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm like, I have mixed feelings about, because it's a great game, but man, is it still broken.
Yeah. The other
still
thing
almost unplayable on
specifically I wanted to mention for Game of the Year is that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is on Game of the Year list.
Yeah,
and I was like, you know what? That's pretty cool. That's there. It's a JRPG. Like, right on. Like,
yeah.
You get a participation trophy for just being there. That's cool. So I'm maybe not get into all these. There's Best Game Direction, which is all Game of the Year stuff. Let's see. Narrative looks like most.
Narrative, yeah.
Let's see. Art direction, kind of the same stuff. I'm trying to look for something different here. but most of them. Ooh, Metal Hellsinger is nominated for Best Score in Music. I love that that's there. Best Audio Design. Let's see, Best Performance. I'm trying to skip, like, Games for Impact. I want to go look at those indie games. The indie list you're talking about. Ongoing game, I'm not surprised there. Best Indie. So for Best Indie, since we were talking about indies, Cult of the Lamb is on there. Neon White is on there, which I've heard Neon White is really good. Sifu is also
I've heard that's
on there.
really good, yeah.
Sifu is really tough and really good. Stray is on there, and then our boy Tunic is on there.
Tunic's
the
on
game
there.
That,
Yeah.
the game that
game.
we've played like every convention. I'm happy that Tunic is on there.
I'm happy to see Tunic too. Eventually I will own it and actually play
Here's
it
one
myself.
for Cody. Here's a category for Cody. Best mobile game.
Oh, thanks.
Apex
Yes.
Legends Mobile, Diablo Immortal, or mobile. Did I say Apex Legends? Yeah, Apex Legends Mobile, Diablo Immortal. Genshin Impact is on there again. Marvel Snap is on there.
Yeah, that should win.
Yeah.
I would
Snap's
say
from
I don't
Marvel
play
Snap.
that many mobile games.
No, I know.
You
But
play
it
more
just-
than we do,
no.
though. Or at least
Yeah,
more than
you
I
do.
do.
I always give them a fair shot, I feel like,
Yeah.
and then go meh, and then I move
Yeah.
on.
And then Tower Fantasy is on there, which is another Genshin type of style, like Japanese, like gotcha game.
Okay.
And I hope Ludwig wins Content Creator of the Year, but I don't really care about most of the rest of them. I never really care about Content Creator either, but just because Ludwig is so closely tied with the Smash community, that I'm like,
Sure.
well, I kind of want him to win. I'm a little biased.
I'm definitely trying to look and see if there's any other big things to keep, like, big categories. The poor fighting game category is so... Multiverses is on there. I'm like, Multiverses better win it. But fighting game category is pretty poor right now. Yeah, those are kind of it. Like, I'm kind of looking through these, and a lot of it's kind of samey. I'm trying to look for anything that really stands out. Splatoon 3 is in my best multiplayer. That's kind of it. Well, best debut indie, I guess. Neon White, Norco, Stray, Tunic, Vampire Saviors, which is random. Yeah, I think that's kind of it. Oh, wait. Here's an interesting one. Best adaptation. This is what we've been talking about.
Oh, right,
And
yeah.
it's all... Oh, okay, this is like a TV... Yeah, this is a TV show / movie category. We got Arcane, which... Come on, y'all. That's going to get it.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk Edgerunners, which could give Arcane a run for its money, I think, but not as many people watched Edgerunners as they did Arcane.
Yeah, there's no way.
Then I feel bad for the Cuphead show, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and then look at Uncharted in here. I feel like
They had to get another one in
Uncharted
there.
is like, hey guys, like I'm here. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's kind of it as far as like the most interesting categories and nominees here. So I think we can move on.
Sweet. All right, well, we will get into the movies then.
Yep.
Again, Wakanda Forever. We're on the same page.
Yeah, we are.
Got to watch it yesterday, Sunday for the listeners, and it was real good. What'd you think?
It was really good. I don't know. Like it's not like this amazing 10 out of 10 movie. But it's really solid. It's up there. Like
Best Marvel movie that they've made in a while, probably.
it is.
Well, best in
Honestly,
Phase 4 is what I've heard. People have been saying
honestly,
that.
it feels like when I went back to see like Shang-Chi, I'm like, oof. Like I'm like, yes, this is why people come to a Marvel movie right here. Is for
Heck
epic, grand scale things right here.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked it. Definitely, you better bring some tissue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
really.
emotional.
Yes.
Um,
Out the gate. Like, they don't waste any time.
And I hate to say that, but I do feel like one of my worries before the movie came out was that
Yeah.
it was going to kind of exploit Chadwick Boseman's death.
Yeah.
And as touching as it was, and like, wow, it's very emotional.
Yeah.
Or that was kind of what it was wired to do.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah.
So by the end of it, as touched as I was, I still felt very exploited in a lot of ways. I won't give too much away with the movie, but they bring it up multiple times throughout. It's not just, a tribute at the beginning or the end.
Yeah.
It's brought up over and over, and it's like, okay, yeah, we know. And I mean, they do it in a really respectful way. As respectful as you can, but it feels very much like they were. I mean, I'm sure that they were trying to be, at least the actors and actresses were probably trying to, pay him respect through doing this movie. But a lot of the times it felt kind of gross.
I think the thing that I heard that makes me feel a little bit better about it is that I guess like Ryan Coogler consulted like his family like when they wrote it.
Yeah, that's good.
So I'm like, okay, like that's cool. Like that at least he didn't do, the way they did it, but they did so with like the approval of like the family and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay,
that's huge.
And it does feel important. It doesn't just feel like they were looking for, it did feel important. Like, yes, it did get brought up a lot, but it did feel important, especially to characters like Angela Bassett, dude. Oh my gosh, she was amazing. Like, she gave the best performance, I think. Namor is awesome too. I feel like he could have been
really good.
I feel like he could have been a much more charismatic, cooler character, but I think he was still really awesome. Yeah, there's not much more I think we can say without getting into spoilers, but I think it's like this is the kind of movie people go see Marvel movies for. Like, it's kind of sad that like they put out Doctor Strange and Thor, which are supposed to be just as big, but in hindsight they really weren't. But this is why people go see Marvel movies.
We really can't say too much more without giving anything away.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I'm not going to say that. I think it'll be too much. I don't know. I enjoyed it.
I mean, everybody knows Ironheart is going to be in it. I did like Riri Williams. She was a cool like.
Yeah, my one problem with Ironheart, and I loved it for the most part, was that her design was very anime-esque, which is cool. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I heard somebody liken it to like a Power Rangers outfit, and I'm like, you're not wrong.
Yeah, but it wasn't explained. Like, is she an anime fan? Why does it look so anime?
Yeah,
it almost looked. I don't like the Iron Man suits always look so realistic. It did look very
toony,
and it looked almost like a like something pulled out of like a CGI to movie like live action thing, like a cartoon live action thing.
Yeah.
It was a little out of place, and then it could have been a little bit more connected, I feel like, to her inspiration. But those are nitpicks. Definitely worth the watch. I definitely
totally.
So go say it. And it does, even though it is, I feel, exploiting Chadwick Boseman in a lot of ways. I think it does honor him too. And I know that a lot of people.
You definitely get in danger for him. You get in danger like of being in hot water if you go too far in one direction. But I think they treaded lightly for sure. I think they tiptoed around it a lot with respect as well as it does.
Because it was made with love.
Yeah.
I am in the camp of I would have rathered him been recasted, and then not let that character of T'Challa die with the actor. I feel
it was still
he
awkward.
would want it to live long.
Yeah,
he wanted to live on past him. But I don't know that. That's my assumption, and that's an uneducated assumption. I think I'm literally putting myself in his shoes, and that's not really fair because I don't, for one, have cancer. So
it sounds like they did have plans to put Namor in the sequel, regardless. So it sounds like that plot line of like Wakanda and the other, land. It sounds like a lot of that stuff was still like in the works and planning phases early on, because they talked about how Chadwick was excited to have that character in there and stuff like that. And I'm just like, oh, like that is cool that it was being set that far back.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Overall, good movie.
Yeah, good.
Shelley, what did you see?
I won't talk about it for very long, don't worry. But I realized after Halloween I did watch another movie. Live action Scooby-Doo. The first one.
Yeah, it's so
that's a
good.
Been a
one.
while. I've seen it before, you know. But
It
it's been
probably
a while.
didn't age very well at all, but I do have fond memories of it.
The CGI did not age well at all. It looks pretty bad, but the acting and the characters, I would say, actually aged pretty well. Like, I think it was. I don't know. Maybe not necessarily aged well, but I still enjoyed it. I still thought it was just what you kind of want out of a, you know, live action version of a cartoon that you love. Like, I just thought it was a really good adaptation where they're all just like, you know, it's ever so slightly more realistic, but still definitely not. And some of these sequences that you see in, you know, animated Scooby-Doo, they kind of portrayed in this. And I don't know. I just thought it was fun. I don't really have anything to say about it.
Shaggy's voice
But I
is so
realized
good.
I was trying to figure out,
Yeah.
like, did I watch any movies recently? That movie. So I decided to mention it. But I still really like it.
Nice.
Well, we'll get in. Wait, am I? Yes, we'll get into the movie news.
Yeah,
I had to look.
we're good.
Make sure LJ hadn't seen anything else.
Nope.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Awesome.
So we have some news.
Some news. Is
One
right.
of the news pieces I think is actually really cool and exciting. So let's talk about that one first. Actually, let's just set the
And then
tone.
it's all
Start
downhill
off
from there.
It is all downhill from there. I would definitely agree. Well, here's what we'll do. We'll do, from my opinion, best to worst. So take
So we're
that
gonna
as you will.
slow down. We're gonna like coast.
So, okay, so we were just talking about adaptations, right? We were just talking about, like, Game Awards already has, like, a section just for, like, game adaptations into shows and movies. We're actually getting kind of another one for Gran Turismo, and this is not what you think it is. When you just hear, like, Gran Turismo movie, you're probably thinking, like, a Need for Speed kind of movie, or, like, a, I don't know, just, like, a cool car movie, which, you know,
That's what I
is
figured it
also
was.
fine itself. They could have did
There's already
that.
like 9 of those cool car movies.
Yeah. But
Actually,
this one,
half of them are action movies now.
yeah. So this one, and by the way, they've started filming, so like that's sort of where it
Nice.
is. That's where we're at in production.
They hit the gas.
But it's Sony Pictures basically tweeted saying that they're underway with the movie. And here I'll quote the tweet. It says it's based on an inspiring true story of a Gran Turismo player, Jan Martinborough, who won a series of gaming competitions, leading him to become an actual professional race car driver, which I
didn't
think
even know
is
was a
just so
thing.
cool.
I love
Like,
that.
Yeah.
Because that's something that, you know, you're going to get the people who played Gran Turismo coming out for it. You're going to have people who have paid attention to esports coming out for it too, or at least like racing esports. And then you're going to have people who just think like, oh, this is an interesting story coming out to see this. I think this is like this, and I don't know if it's necessarily going to be a documentary, like it could be, but I still think it's going to be interesting for like all audiences.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
no,
it'll be
because like
really
David
cool.
Harbour and
A
a few
Ford
other
versus
big-
Ferrari type situation, but
Yeah.
with video games.
Yeah.
There are big
That's a
actors
good
in it,
comparison.
so.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So I just think that's really cool. I literally have no interest in Gran Turismo as a game, but I'm interested in the movie because I just didn't realize that was like a thing that happened with someone. Like,
Gran
wow.
Turismo-
That's such a crazy story, and a story
Yeah.
worth telling.
Yeah,
I
Gran
agree,
Turismo was
exactly.
the OG car sim. Like that's the thing people played if they wanted realistic car like racing games.
Yep, I'm terrible at it.
Yeah, no, it's tough.
Yeah.
My
now there's-
brother is. I probably haven't played one in a long time, but he used to be very into him.
Yeah,
And could like drift like no other. And he was like, "Oh yeah, you're turning too sharp. You need to like hit this, and this, so that your car does a certain thing." And I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Mhm, yeah. And that was
I'm
before
awesome.
drifting
used to
was like
just
a
hitting, like,
mechanic.
A reverse button, not the brake for some reason, and drifting as I'm going forward, exactly where I need, and then letting go, and then speeding up.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
but
that's
they, like
our-
you went through the simulation stuff. They
Yeah.
have the rigs and stuff. I'm sure that he was playing in a rig for those competitions.
Oh, for sure. It makes me wonder.
Pedals,
It's like,
steering wheels.
is this the first step? Are we going to also have people who, and you know, maybe it's happened where people have played like Microsoft Flight Simulator and then became pilots?
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
What I really
Oh,
want
sure.
is somebody gets so into Street Fighter or Tekken that they get into like real martial arts.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be
Dude.
so awesome.
Video games are inspiring, and I think
Yeah.
that's something that this I don't know, movie will kind of be able
I
to
mean,
showcase
my
to people
brother-
who've never played or are
My
not
brother
interested.
literally learned how to do nunchucks from like watching like the katas in Soul Calibur, like watching Maxi do those. Like,
Heck
you know,
yeah.
Sure,
so
some
they're-
kid has played a lot of Minecraft and bought some Legos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I just thought that sounds fun. I think that's a technically video game movie that'll be coming out, but I think it, just the story behind it and is going to be a little bit different.
Than just another,
sounds like
Need for Speed or
exactly.
like another just cookie cutter adaptation.
Reminds me of that. What's that game called, or that movie called, from the 90s that was basically a giant trailer for Super Mario 3?
Oh, like The Wizard, I think it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Similar. Not the same, but...
It might be 80s. I think it's an 80s movie.
I might be. I think Super Mario Bros. 3 came out in 92, but I could be wrong. It's been a while. Anyways.
I wouldn't know.
Cool stuff.
But anyway. So that's probably the best. Now let's go to sort of the middle. We have three pieces today. So we talked in the past. Yeah, we've talked in the past a lot about Pirates of the Caribbean. And we talked about how it's like, there's like a couple different movies at this point, and we already talked extensively about like, is Johnny Depp coming back or not? Is it going to be a reboot? Is it going to be a continuation? And we've talked about a Pirates of the Caribbean that has Margot Robbie in it. And so if you've been listening for a while, you're familiar with this movie, it's a thing. Well, unfortunately, it's no longer a thing. It got canceled. So, I mean, we haven't heard of anything in a minute, I guess to be fair, maybe we should have seen it coming, but...
What did we say earlier? That ship has sailed.
Yes.
It has. Yep.
Should walk the plank for these puns.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my
All
gosh. Day. I think the whole series is underwater, honestly.
Along with Davy Jones.
Yeah.
Yep.
So...
Anyways.
And it's, like, kind of too bad just because, like, I don't know, Pirates of the Caribbean's fun, and no one was not expecting Johnny Depp to be, like, coming back or anything, but I think it could have been fun seeing Margot Robbie, like, do stuff, but it's got canceled, so I don't know.
Done that is,
this was the one thing
they
could have made it interesting, and now it's just more...
They could have not connected it to any of the previous movies and just had it be its own thing, and it would have been fine.
It could have been cool. Like, and
anytime I bring this up, I need to say, we need an Anne Bonny movie. It would be good.
I think like a soft reboot would have been like awesome.
Yeah. Margot Robbie could totally be Anne Bonny. Crazy story. Historic character. Very cool.
Yeah. Character or person?
Very scary. Very piratey. What?
You mean person or character?
Person.
Person.
Real person.
Real person. Okay.
Anne Bonny is a historical person.
Like an actual person. Okay, cool. Yeah. I did that earlier this week. I don't remember who I was talking about, but I definitely called real people. I said characters, and I was like, wait a second.
I do that in fantasy football all the time. I go, my character didn't do well. And he's like, those are real people, and they're actually injured. You should feel bad.
Oof. That is very funny, but also sad. So now to our last news piece. Now to our last news piece, which I hate a lot, if I'm going to be honest. WB, it's not confirmed or anything, but they are in talks of potentially making a Cursed Child movie, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. And if you don't know, if you don't follow Harry Potter, or maybe you've never heard this, even if you have sort of vaguely followed Harry Potter. So the Cursed Child is it takes place after the main Harry Potter series, and yes. It was originally a play. So it was a playwright. And
I own the playwright. I've never read it.
Well, you don't need to because it's awful.
That's what I've heard.
I've heard that.
So Shelley says you should burn it then.
Yeah. So,
this is a Christian podcast. We can't talk about burning Harry Potter books.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
Not that kind of Christian podcast.
Just don't read them. I feel bad. I got a Cursed Child for my sister one year, a couple years ago, before I realized it was awful. And I feel really bad about that because I just didn't know. But anyway, most Harry Potter fans reject the Cursed Child and consider it non-canon and stuff because, J.K. Rowling did write part of it. But there's also another writer, and also J.K. Rowling isn't really even a good writer anymore. Or even by that time, she wrote Cursed Child, and this is way before Fantastic Beasts and all that. But even by that time, she already was kind of not. I don't know. She was already kind of getting weird.
What if they make it better in the movie?
Yeah, what if they loosely adapt it and just do their own thing with it?
There's maybe, but they would have to change really, really big plot points.
Oh, okay.
They'd have to entirely remove characters that just shouldn't exist.
Oh,
that sort of
That'd
thing.
be cool. I mean, that's fine. I think all the Cursed Child needs to be, in a movie sense, is a
they would
reunion
have
of
to
our
remove the Cursed Child,
characters.
is what I'm saying. They would have to literally get rid of the Cursed Child for it to be a book that actually is good and makes sense
Or
and
just
something beautiful.
curse him in a different way.
Because I don't want to spoil it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But maybe I do
They could
because to
curse him
ward
differently.
people off. But,
I mean, does anybody care anymore? I mean, about
well, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, I'm probably not gonna read
They
it.
might be making a movie.
Yeah, so people might want
Oh.
to read it.
But and to be fair,
all the movie needs to be is a reunion of the main characters,
we already had
Yeah.
and
that.
then you have a cursed child that hopefully doesn't repeat whatever happens in the book that should not be named.
yeah. So
Ah,
there we go. That really should be.
I
what it's
love
called.
that. That's very meta.
Yeah, so, what was I going to say off of that? I have at least heard, in its defense, I have heard that actually watching it as a play is more enjoyable than reading, but that's every play. Because playwrights are meant to be plays, but even then, people, like, as far as the story and, like, characters and things go, people don't like it for those reasons, not even necessarily because of the actual, like, quality of the writing, I suppose. And that stuff sticks, right, between play and not play. So I think a play probably hides
so that you can make it up.
Yeah, I think the play kind of like hides some of the it looks nice and you're like in a play and you're not really thinking about like, oh, does this make sense? When you're reading a book, you're like have to read it back. You're like, wait a second, did they just say that? You know, you have the opportunity to do that. You can rewind. So anyway, it just makes you a little bit disappointed because we already know Fantastic Beasts is on a downward spiral. They probably won't even have another one, honestly, after this, this third one that released more recently. And it's like WB owns Harry Potter and they want to milk that cow. And J.K. Rowling, I think, also wants to milk that cow. And none of us Harry Potter fans want them to do it anymore because we're like, guys, we're done. Like, the movies happened and like the first Fantastic Beasts was fine, but the others were not. And like, can we please just give it up? Can we please move on? Can we please do something else? Can we not do Harry Potter anymore? And here they are probably still doing Harry Potter. So that's just disappointing. And I don't like that at all. So yeah.
There. Cool. Hufflepuffs for life.
Yeah.
We get on the TV. We're all three Hufflepuffs, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
I'm totally choosing Hufflepuff in the video game coming.
I don't know if I'm getting Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah, I probably won't.
I am.
There's a list of games.
I don't think I will.
never buy.
If I ever did, I would probably be used because I don't want to
I'm
give
an
J.K.
addict.
Rowling
I'm
money.
definitely gonna. I'm an addict. I'm definitely gonna buy it. So.
Yeah, I just don't want to give her money. So it's like if I can get it used, maybe, but also at the same time, the story doesn't sound good. So that's like kind of
I'm
it's like
bummed that
it's like the
not an
1-2
MMO
punch. It's
thing.
like J.K. Rowling's a bad person, but also the story sounds not fun at best, racist at worst. So I'm like, maybe I don't.
Oh,
maybe I don't.
yeah.
Maybe I don't. But who knows? I don't know.
I'll let y'all know. I'm a terrible person.
No, you're not a terrible person. You're fine.
I don't know the plot, I guess, that well.
It's got something
I
to
was
do with
hoping
the
that it was like
gnomes
a
and
shared
stuff.
world kind of thing.
I know.
Like not an MMO. When I say MMO, people get like a specific idea. But like Destiny, but with wizards. And I was like,
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Winging into TV. I mentioned earlier that I finished Edge Runners. Okay, so last week I said that Edge Runners kind of glorifies the moral decay of the world, and I'm sticking by that, even though it is a tragedy, which I had a feeling. Just the response that even LJ gave me.
Yep.
Last week I was like, and other things that I've heard. It is a tragic story, but I think that in a lot of ways it still was this.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just it glorifies everything in a way that Cyberpunk doesn't. Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah,
doesn't.
the tragedy means much less when it does, glorify that kind of stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, I
Interesting.
think. Yeah, I can't tell you what the tragedy is without giving anything away. So it's just,
Which
it's
is
not
fair, but it's like, man,
it's not
now I'm
necessarily
like,
the moral decay that creates the tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I feel like in Cyberpunk 2077, without giving too much away, there is a big emphasis on how bad the moral decay is.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I guess that's kind of where I stand with it. It was really well animated. The story was good.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't have, and I will say that I like it more than I did 4 episodes in, because the story and the animation was so good.
It just got better with each episode, I think.
Yeah, definitely. But still doesn't have the soul that 27/7 does. So that's where I kind of land on it. If you watch Cyberpunk, you may want to watch the show just for the like. It is cool to see like such stupid things like the map shows up, and I'm like, oh, I've seen that map. And
Hearing
it's
that little
like,
ringtone is just automatically like just triggers something like when they call each other like.
Mm-hmm. The same ringtone. There's a sequence and the music from the game is playing, and I was like, that's kind of cool because the music tells me a specific thing is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I don't know. That part of it was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
There's also some voice acting that I didn't expect to see get brought between the game and the show. So that was kind of fun to bring voice actors back. In small ways, don't get too, I mean, it's not in a huge way. And then what's his name that plays Moff Gideon?
Moff Gideon.
Gideon.
Giancarlo. I met Giancarlo.
Is that his name?
Yeah, Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah. Cool.
He's in it.
Yeah, he's in it, and that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So there's redeeming qualities to it. It just doesn't have the soul that Cyberpunk did. And maybe I was reading into Cyberpunk, and there was a really specific thing, and maybe that's not their overarching moral, but it was what I had gathered from the game. It's what I like valued from the game. So other than that, I watched Dragon Prince, and
Heck yeah,
I like it. I'm enjoying it. I read the book that you told me to read, Shelley.
Oh, good. Okay.
The moon thing.
But you understand why? Like I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There would have been stuff that would have been a little confusing.
It would have been confusing. Yeah.
For sure. I guess there are quite a few things that wouldn't have really. I'm thinking about it. We're about 5 episodes in, I think, and really enjoying it. It still does the thing that it does with characters that I love. The villains are just people, and so the people have people problems sometimes, and that's just really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
To see, and this continues to do that, and that's something that the creators of the show have always been good with, or writers. I'm not sure. Whoever did Avatar: The Last Airbender that is doing this does good things with characters.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't really see a down quality in the animation, but maybe I just don't remember it very well. It's been a while since I've seen.
That's kind of how
it feels very.
That's kind of how I felt too. People were like complaining left and right about the animation, but I didn't really notice any problems. Honestly,
yeah.
The only times in which I was made really aware of problems were clips taken later, and people were like, "Look at all these animation inconsistencies." And it's like, well, when I'm watching for the first time, like I don't pay attention to those, and you're not gonna notice them. But it's actually kind of funny. For a spoiler-free example, there's like multiple scenes where Callum has his scarf, and then he just doesn't have his scarf anymore. It just disappears. And that's just something where it's like, well, you're not going to pay attention to that. You're not going to notice that when you're first watching. But on a playback, you're like, what? So it's not like super duper consequential animation issues. It's just like kind of.
What's crazy with streaming
funny.
Is they can fix that now if they want to.
Yeah.
They can patch it.
It's weird.
That's
such a weird concept to me that they can update shows like that. I guess I remember season 1's animation being really bad.
Yeah.
And this seems better than season 1's animation, so I'm like cool with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like season 1 was so choppy, and you had to get kind of through that.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's all the TV I've been watching. What about you, Shelley?
So, I'll start off with Doctor Who. Just kind of in prep for the next Doctor Who era. Nice. We've actually been going back and watching it again, but I requested that because we sort of stopped watching mid Capaldi, but I never watched the first 2 seasons with Eccleston, and then just the Rose seasons. I never watched the Rose seasons, so I kind of thought, well, I kind of want to watch those. So we are making their way through season 1.
People hate Rose, I think.
I really like Eccleston, and I really like their
Eccleston's awesome.
I really like. Yeah, my husband, he described that they kind of have like buddy cop energy, and they definitely do.
That's me, like that being the only Doctor Who I've ever watched. I really liked Eccleston.
Yeah, I thought it was really fun. And it's
I
just
started with Matt Smith, so that was really weird.
yeah. I started season 3, so it's like David Tennant, but it wasn't his first season. But it wasn't with Rose. It was with Maria, I think. Marie? I don't remember her name. I feel bad, but it was great, by the way. I've liked all the companions except for maybe the one with Capaldi. She's kind of I don't know. We have to finish watching that season, but either way, I'm enjoying that so far. We're kind of slowly working through it because we're also watching Andor, and we've not finished Andor. We've only gone through episode 6, and I know that there's still more coming out. I think there's going to be 12.
There's a lot of episodes.
Yeah, there's going to be like 12 episodes and another season, but like I'm really happy about it because this is not even done yet. I haven't even finished even what's out yet, and it's already, I think, my favorite Star Wars show, except for maybe The Mandalorian, because Mandalorian was also freaking awesome. But like
that first episode, I feel like will tell you whether or not you're gonna like the show. I loved it.
I think you're right. I think that's a really good, just like watch the first episode. If you don't like that, you probably won't like it.
It was so dark for Star Wars. I was like, ooh,
I really liked it. It's like because it's just Rogue One, but a show. That's all it is, and I loved Rogue One, so I'm happy about it. I love the, it doesn't feel like Star Wars until you see like a TIE fighter going overhead and you're like, oh, it is Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
And I really love the sort of like, I hate to overuse the word juxtaposition. I know people don't like that word anymore, but like sort of that comparison between like you see like, just the regular old guys working their jobs on the ground, just living their lives, but like under Empire rule and like suffering for it. And then you see the people who are working for the Empire, and you see Coruscant. Like we were both, Daniel and I, were so pumped to see Coruscant. Empire ruled. It was like we haven't seen Coruscant really much at all. Like it was like it's prequels, right? And then there's like one scene, and there's one scene where they're in that the big room with all like the little pods where in the prequels all the senators would come together and they would like say stuff, and it's like, oh, now but the Empire's using it now. They're using it, and it's like I like seeing the comparison between like people who are living on that planet, people who are working as essentially police, or people who are working on the Empire and they have like all this fancy stuff, and just the life and their life differences, and showing off the I don't know, I just really like all the characters. I really like the show. I really like Cassian.
Without space wizards and space knights, it's very cyberpunk, and I'm on a cyberpunk kick, so maybe I really like that part of it too.
I just think every character is like so like realistic, and just so cool. I don't know.
Yeah,
I really like
I'm excited to watch more.
I also really love
first though.
Yeah, I love that it's kind of in like 3-episode arcs. That makes it really easy to watch.
Okay.
Because you could just pretty easily watch like 3 episodes in a row. I mean, they're kind of long, but they're like a half hour, 40 minutes, right? But that's what we did. We kind of like watched like 3-episode chunk, and then we watched another 3-episode chunk, and that's probably what we're gonna do next. Is kind of like watching these 3-episode chunks because they're just like the separate arcs, which I think are really I don't know. I think that's smart show design. Where it's like there's still like a through plot, but it's like you're not sticking on one thing too long. So
you can move forward. That's cool.
Big fan of that show.
Nice.
And then LJ, you've been watching Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, I only watched like another. I watched like another episode or two. It's getting really good. It's definitely one of those shows that like, it's very graphic, very gory, very pervy. There was a particular scene
I didn't say that about Edge Runners, and hopefully people. Same with Edge Runners.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said that last week, but I didn't say it this week.
There was a scene where I was like, I think my mom or somebody was like walking by or whatever, and I'm like, I'm gonna turn this off right now because it's not a good time for this. I'm like,
shoot.
Like, they're gonna be like, what are you watching? So I was like, and right as I hit the home button on my PlayStation, my mom walks in my room, and I'm like, oh good, I timed it out like right on. So I was like, I'm just gonna watch this later. It's still really, the concept is still really crazy. And it's out there. Like, the show is, like, if you're looking for just some wacky, crazy, out there anime, it's really good. On a lighter note, I guess I didn't put this in here, but because I watched it, like, right before the podcast, but I didn't realize there was more Spy Family out. So if you want a much more wholesome and much less graphic anime, go watch Spy Family.
Okay.
But no, Chainsaw Man it's pretty good from what I've seen so far too. But yeah, that's kind of the newest, I think, biggest anime. It's cool. I've been seeing people make cosplays and stuff on TikTok, like trying to 3D print like the chainsaw like head and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, I still like it for what it is. But yes, I can't honestly recommend it if you're not okay with some of that stuff. I mean, not that I'm okay with some of that stuff, but people talk. It's whatever you can tolerate.
If it triggers anything.
Yeah. If you think it's gonna, I mean, automatically it's gory as heck. But yeah, I like it though. Yeah, that's it.
Cool. Well, we'll stick to anime.
Yeah.
Probably something else that's going to be gory, I'm betting. Dragon Age Absolution got its trailer. Shelley, you're a huge fan of Dragon Age.
Yes,
Are
I
you
am
excited about
excited.
this?
I'm really excited about this. I think this is just going to add to any hype. I mean, I guess it could still go wrong, but I just think...
I don't think it will.
It's been long enough since the games, I think.
Yeah, I know, like, the next game is already having a very shaky development. Like, BioWare, there's been a lot going on with BioWare.
Yeah.
So, as much as I am excited for the next game, I am, like, a little nervous about it. Whereas this is, like, a show, it's not a game. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's, like, consultants from BioWare, but, like, it's not going to have, like, the same issues, I don't think.
Hopefully the show will just add to, like, the lore and just
That's
make that
exactly
much
what
more
I'm
richer and, like, more interesting.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I'm hoping for. It's like, because it's already looks like it's going to be taking place in Deventer, or at least it's going to be taking place with a lot of characters from Deventer, which we have not yet really seen at all in any of the Dragon Age games. We've met characters from Deventer, but there's so much crazy lore there. And the next game almost definitely is going to be taking place there. So, and from what we can gather, this is very likely going to be taking place between Inquisition and Dragon Age 4.
Yeah.
Because we also see Cassandra. We see Cassandra in there, which is pretty cool. And I think people are saying they saw Liliana. I did not see Liliana, but maybe I wasn't watching closely
There's
enough.
a character that looked very familiar as if it could be Liliana, but I don't necessarily think it was.
It's a game series I probably should get into. I love The Witcher. And the reason that I almost stopped playing The Witcher was the same reason I stopped playing Dragon Age. And so I was confused, and there were no tutorials. But when I kept playing, I'm sure that I would have gotten it and loved it.
I feel like the first one will be the toughest probably for you to get through because it's very much classic, like RPG, like Western RPG.
Have you played KOTOR?
Yeah, so it's it's Knights of the Old Republic, basically. But then the second and third one are when it gets more action heavy, and I think it becomes more accessible.
It's a little more palatable. Yeah,
yes,
I would agree.
Yes.
The story is the best in Origins, for sure, but the gameplay, is kind of rough in that first game, for sure. Actually quite rough, but anyway. I still love the series.
The trailer, to me, not knowing anything, looks a lot like Vox Machina in a lot of ways, and I loved Vox Machina, so I'm kind of excited
the
about
animation style looks incredibly similar too, and in fact it's not D&D, but it's like almost D&D. It's off of a role-playing fantasy world, so very similar in that way. But
I don't think it'll have the comedy that Vox Machina had, but I don't need that. Like, I feel like it'll be a good story with an animation style that I
think
enjoy.
That's why I was disappointed in Vox Machina, not because of the comedy, but they just went so hard on the comedy that I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
I think that probably just pulls from it being straight out of the source material.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing too, is that it's like, that's literally based off a D&D campaign, whereas like, we have Dragon Age Absolution, which is very much not. So it's there's an actual team of writers that can do whatever they want. They have creative freedom over it. Whereas like if you base off D&D, you have to like implement stuff that happened, like bad rules and good rules and weird stuff like that. But either way, a couple notes, takeaways from this trailer. Lady Kunari Mage, very, very cool. We don't really see many Kunari mages. We've seen hardly any Lady Kunaris. Like, there's like no NPCs that are Kunari women in any of the games, I don't think. Except for very, very, very minor, maybe.
Big warrior types.
Yeah, and like, Kunari mages are very rare because of just lore reasons. So it's really, I think it's awesome that we're seeing a woman Kunari mage, just for diversity in the lore, is very, very cool. I also just think it's so funny that in this game, in this trailer, they literally mention, they say like 2 fighters, 2 mages, and a rogue, or something along those lines. And I'm like, okay, like, because if you play the games, like, those are the 3 class types. You can either play a fighter, you can play a rogue, or you play a mage. And sure, there's subclasses within those, so there's still, like, replayability, there's still differences there. But I just thought that was so funny, because it's like, that's what they call them in the games in the actual world. I thought that's just, the class names. Like, oh, you pick a fighter. Oh, you're going to, like, get a shield or whatever. You're going to pick a mage. Oh, you do magic. It's like, they literally, like, this is a quest that involves 2 fighters, 2 mages, and a rogue. And I'm just like, that just seems a little too on the nose for me, but it's kind of funny. Like, it's, like, almost funny to me.
It's like they didn't intend for it to be that way, but it totally did come out that way.
It almost makes me wonder if it's, like, meant as a, like, oh, players know that these are the classes, but for me, it's almost a little too cheesy, but it's funny. And all that being said, though, I'm really excited for the show because, the characters, I think it's cool that they're definitely focusing on new original characters that they can do whatever the heck they want with. Maybe they'll show up in the next game. That'd be cool. Maybe we'll see Dorian. Maybe we'll see Fenris, since they're both from Teventer, just as, what's the word? Just as cameos.
Oh, like seeing,
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. There's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, other cameos in other games, like, it tells me that, we'll definitely see that.
So I'm always starving for Dragon Age content. There's never enough Dragon Age content to quench my thirst. So I will be consuming this. Yes.
Cool.
Inquisition was Game of the Year in 2014, so,
Good game. It's a good game.
Yeah.
Let's look at the anime I'll kind of bounce around here. We have Disney. This was kind of teased a few days ago. As of this being published, this podcast, it's already out. But Zen is a Studio Ghibli short about Grogu. So far, it looks adorable. It's just an image right now. But that's pretty cool. It's got little dust bunnies. The dust bunnies remind me of Totoro. So I'm like, is it literally Totoro's dust bunnies? That would be pretty cool.
So cool. Such a cool crossover. I'm like, man.
Yeah.
So happy about it.
Love it. LJ, you mentioned what was that show called? Star Wars.
Oh, Visions, yes. I have to wonder if this was going to be in Visions and maybe it just wasn't done quickly enough. Yeah. So now it's a short.
Does Visions have any characters that are canon?
No, it doesn't. Well, actually, I think Boba Fett is in one of them.
Okay, I was like, I didn't know for sure or not.
I think one.
That would be part of it too. Is maybe it's because it's a canon character,
True.
Not necessarily that the story's canon.
Well, yeah, because I think even the whole thing about Visions was that like, oh, none of these are considered canon.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's a cool little idea. I love Studio Ghibli. I love me some Grogu. So
yes,
excited.
It's like the crossover I didn't ever think would happen, but it's like perfect. Like I just it's beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. I would love more Studio Ghibli Star Wars stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like give us more Visions. Give us Vision season 2. Give us like
a
Ghibli
want a season 2
episode.
I really
then
think
give us a movie.
Ghibli as like I've always thought of them as like anime Disney movies. Anyways.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So Disney
and they partnered with Disney in the past.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a no-brainer in a little bit of a way. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last thing, we'll go back to Netflix. The Witcher. Blood Origin is a 4-part series. So it's a limited series and we got a trailer for it. So it should be out December 25th, Christmas Day. So Merry Christmas to us. I don't know if I'll be watching The Witcher on Christmas Day, but or why you would choose that date, but it's cool. Looks great. I think it looks better. Like I'm more excited for this trailer wise than I was for like Rings of Power.
Yeah.
It just looks more epic than Rings of Power did, which is unfortunate for Rings of Power, but which is okay. Don't know if it'll actually be that good. Hopefully it is. And yeah, I want more of the Witcher world, so I'm down, especially for live action.
And I almost like that, like, there is no Geralt, or there is nothing, like, to me, at least, there's, like, it just looks so different. Like, it's barely related to The Witcher, and I kind of like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that it'll be the origin of the Witchers.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. So that the Witchers aren't even a thing yet in
Mm-hmm.
the series. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. And that is the TV news.
Mm-hmm.
Are we geeking out about anything else this week?
Not I.
I want to talk a little bit about my weekend. I went to Port Priority 7, which is
Nice.
Port Priority is kind of like our PNW, or at least Seattle-based annual major for Smash.
Okay.
So I don't really talk about Smash very much on the podcast because it would get really repetitive. But I thought I'd at least bring it up that that was this weekend, and there were over 600 attendees, I'm pretty sure, which is pretty
awesome.
big. Yeah, and granted, like, you know, there's also Rivals of Aether available, but I mean, majority of that was going to be for Smash Ultimate, because I don't even think Melee was there. But it was at a casino, kind of a local casino that's about a half hour from Seattle or so. But what you might see if you follow esports is it kind of got to esports news level.
Ooh.
Because a situation happened where basically, because, you know, there's the tournament being hosted at this casino, but the tournament runners and the casino are not the same people, right? Mm-hmm. So basically what happened is that there's a amazing Game & Watch player. He's the best Game & Watch player in the world, who could have legitimately won this tournament. He was denied entrance at this casino, and it was, like, incredibly racially motivated. It was really awful. So basically, they didn't accept his Mexican ID. They said, they basically said, oh, you're an outsider. That's the word they used, which is just so messed up. And then they said, you need to go back and get your passport. And at that point, he was frustrated because he left his passport at the hotel, and he was, you know, verbally quite frustrated with that. And then at that point, they just said, well, we don't like your attitude, so you're not allowed. You're not allowed in, not for 24 hours. And that was on, you know, Saturday when everyone is playing their pools, right? Is, you know, playing their games. And so he had to disqualify, and it was really awful. Like, our head TO, who's a great guy, by the way, tried his very best to, like, work with security and, like, get him in. But it wasn't happening. They were not budging. And it was just like this huge racially motivated power trip. It was really awful. But the rest of the tournament was really fun. And thankfully, by the end of the tournament, the casino didn't compensate, which is really unfortunate because it was their fault. The staff and the runners of Port Priority were able to compensate him. Just because, again, he came all the way from Mexico. Like, he traveled for this. He, like, was hopefully trying to make some money out of this by performing well, and he had prepared a lot for this. So thankfully he got compensated for that, and he's, like, you know, not mad at the Port Priority runners at all or anything like that. But anyway,
casino,
so everyone's review bombing the casino, which is deserved. And honestly, I didn't even really like that it was hosted at a casino. The only reason it was, I'm pretty sure, is because it's the 7th Port Priority, and so it was like 007 themed. There was like a GoldenEye tournament, and people dressed up. I dressed up. My husband and I dressed up. All fancy.
That's definitely how I read it. Like, when you had it in the notes, I was like, Port Priority 007?
Yeah,
like,
007, exactly.
Was,
yeah. And that's the reasoning. So, still really, really fun, good event overall, but we're all really, really disappointed with the venue being awful. And so, any locals, don't go to Muckleshoot. Don't do it. Don't do it. Go to Emerald City Queen Casino. Go anywhere else if you're a casino goer. But that's all I'll say. So I just thought I would mention it because it was really fun. So and Tweak, the guy who won, who was one of my favorite players, by the way, one of my favorite top players, had the most insane losers run. Basically, he got knocked into losers somewhat early. As far as the tournament goes, and then he won 11 games in a row, not dropping a game all the way up to grand finals.
That's a climb.
Yeah, and then he 3-0'd the winner's side, who's a guy named Kurama, who's a Mario player, who's really, really freaking amazing. he 3-0'd Kurama and to reset the bracket, and then game 5 Tweak won in an almost last hit scenario, kind of last stock scenario. It was really, really fun to watch, really, really cool. And it's also just crazy because, Tweak hasn't won a major in a really long time, and so this was kind of a long time coming for him too. So it was all just a really cool event, except for the fact that the venue sucked. So, but yeah, I literally I saw esports journalism about it. So if you follow that stuff, you might see it. So
wow.
Anyway, I thought I would share that.
Yeah,
definitely. Well, LJ, where can they find you at? One of the podcasts there.
All right, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at LJ the Paladin.
And Shelley?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at TheShellshock24.
You can find me on Instagram at Cody Armour, and you can find me on Twitch on Wednesdays, twitch.tv/Geeks Under Grace. Keep gaming, keep praying, and God bless.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. We love hearing from you, so feel free to ask us questions or just comment on the show by using the hashtag GUGcast on Twitter, or by joining the GUGcast questions channel in the Geeks Under Grace Discord. If you like this episode, consider leaving a review or rating of our show on your favorite podcast app. If you want even more Geeks Under Grace, you can always go to geeksundergrace.com. We love you all so much, so thank you for listening.